Coming up on the show, building a web-enabled remote control tank. Darren kicks it off with part 1 of the HakHouse Rover project. And Matt's back with the second part of the Napera Indigo beta. And can PHP code be compiled? Jody Franklin comes by with a sweet IP remapping executable. All that and some crazy banter on this episode of Hak5. This episode of Hak5 is brought to you by GoDaddy, Netflix, Squarespace, and viewers like you. Hello and welcome to this episode of Hak5. This is your weekly dose of Technolust. My name is Shanananan.
I'm Darren Kitchen.
I'm Matt Lestock.
She's thrown us for a loop, like every episode is changing. What did you just call her before taping?
Snubbles.
Snubbles.
Shadazy.
Shadazy.
Shenanigans.
I like Snubbles. It sounds like a, it just sounds like an 80s, like,
As long as it's not the snuggle, because I do not follow any sort of
snuggie.
red coat.
Snuggie.
Snuggie?
Not snuggle.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a glowworm of snubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we going on?
Excellent show for you guys, as always. Excited about Season 5. It has lots of new prospects, like I'm tearing apart toys and playing with solder.
Yeah, the whole, I'm going to start building stuff, and then Season 4 got retardedly busy at the end of the season. So we kind of pushed a bunch of stuff off to Season 5, including the thing that we still need to build.
Yes? Really? You ready? Okay.
I'm
All right,
ready.
let's do it.
I've got enough time.
Oh, is this what I think it is?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's going to
I'm
go
excited
like
about this.
Over there. Right there.
Right.
We'll get
right.
rid of those speakers and it'll fit
Yes.
perfect.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
That'll be perfect.
You guys are going to love it.
Parties? Yeah.
But before then, I am going to be kicking off the first part of our HakHouse Rover. This is something that is web-enabled. It is based on a RC tank, and with cameras and RFID eventually, and all fun stuff. You'll have fun playing
How's
with
it
it.
a rover if it's a tank?
Well, don't tanks rove?
I don't think so.
Just a little. Okay, well, I'm going to call it a rover.
I'm going to drink.
All right. So let's see. Oh, well, also we have Jody Franklin coming down from Chesapeake, Virginia, to talk to us about PHP, and it turns out you can compile it. And
Compiling the code.
Yeah, he's got a sweet piece of code that allows us to do basically an IP renumbering.
Which we talked about for.
Did we
At
mentioned
length.
for like a brief moment at the end of
And my
episode
brain was just
424?
kind of like, Are
Oh.
you having issues?
I just realized why it's not working. I have to break this
God.
off first. I'm
Do
having
you
this.
need me to do that for you?
No, I think I've got it. It's, what is this, Ranma?
Ramune.
Ramune. Anyway, it's got a marble inside of it, and it's from Japan or something. I don't know.
Careful with the glass.
Hooray!
That's got to be like one of the most dangerous drinks ever.
But it's awesome. It's so much fun whenever you're sitting in a mall and you put it on the ground and you just go BAM! And it spews everywhere. It's great. It's good fun.
Yeah. All right. We're good.
All right, let's get the show started,
Yeah,
guys.
you guys have fun with your little.
We are talking about Panera later, right?
No, not Panera. Napera. I was really shocked at the amount of response we got for the Napera segment last week.
You are playing with a piece of beta software, of course you are.
Yeah.
pretty badass.
I got an email from Todd Hooper, the CEO and founder of Napera, on some clarifications and exactly what the product is and stuff like that. So
Is he like, look, noob?
no, actually, he showed it to the entire office, and they absolutely were blown away by the overview.
Wow.
So we're going to be going through a couple things and clearing up some, things that weren't really announced but kind of implied and blah, blah, blah.
You've got some cool Microsoft integration that like blows me away because,
Well, it's actually done right.
yeah, because AD integration, when it comes to other stuff, they're like, I use LDAP. I want a shirt that says F LDAP. Sorry.
Yeah, I bet you
I'm
do.
just really sorry.
Wow, you have
LDAP
Paul the laugh
developers.
behind the con. That is epic.
Any systems administrator that has dealt with LDAP on the level that you or I have will know that, yeah, that was a
I'm
fun
running on
spec.
about 3 hours of sleep.
Cool. Well, let's get started so we can get you to the B-dubs.
For
Yes.
some good stuff. So you guys have fun
Delicious
with your
B-dubs.
rover action. I'm going to go over and look at kittens.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Darren. You have a laptop, a soldering iron, an RC car, and a tank over here. What the fuck are you doing, man?
You know, I also have sharp, pointy things
great.
and hot, pointy things.
God. We all know you didn't get hurt in the last season, and you have to get hurt in this one.
I'm not going to.
Yeah, you will.
If I keep playing with that, I will.
So what are we doing?
We are building a rover that you can drive around your house and will eventually have all sorts of crazy features like webcams and RFID readers.
So
and
like a
lasers.
wireless webcam on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the idea is that you may have seen things out there called like Rovios and all sorts of other autonomous things that you can log in and drive around and whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
They're expensive and otherwise they're boring. They're not DIY. And this is fun. This is basically do it yourself for the sake of do it yourself.
This is pretty badass, I gotta say.
I have a bunch of toys around. I had to play with them. There was some good stuff we got over
Hardware.
Christmas.
Woo.
So I wanted to put together one of these kits.
Cool.
And basically, I'm just going to take a cheap tank here that I picked up locally for like $15. It's a cheap tank that has a cheap controller, and that's very important because it's got a controller based on digital switches rather than potentiometers.
Right. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to take a Phidget USB interface, and I'm going to take some solder, some flux, iron, multimeter, wires, various other shit, and I'm going to put it all together to and basically web control it so you guys can drive it around.
What's a Phidget?
So a Phidget is this nifty little web. It's a
midget.
It's not a midget. It's a little tiny board that's got 4 awesome relays and a USB interface. You can find them at phidgets.com. I think I got that pulled up here. And they've got various different kits available. This is the 044 model. It only has 4 outputs, but you can also get ones with, with 16, and digital ins, analog ins, all sorts of stuff. This, it would be 16. We'll actually end up upgrading this later when we add some other features onto it. But the main idea here is, I mean, they're like $60. I can control relays from C code in Linux.
Nice. Okay.
Yes. And then what relays do are basically they'll take a circuit and it's just a switch.
Okay.
So
yeah.
And that's exactly how the controller works. So I can switch it. I actually have a demo here of another vehicle. I got this. This was like a Hummer or some stupid car like that. And I took the board apart because I want to show you, I've already got this one baked. I want to show you what actually goes on to make this happen. When you, the joystick is normally like this, and like when you hit the joystick, all it does is connect these little circuits, and you can actually see, we're moving here. So that's nifty. I've gone ahead and put some jumpers on here so you can see when I connect these jumpers. Okay, so I'm making it move.
Yeah.
That's neat.
So it's working.
And great, so I've got them jumped, and I could just go ahead and wire them right into my Phidget, but that's really not going to look pretty. And I'm not saying that this looks pretty. Trust me, I know. But eventually, I want something that can fit in a project box, so I need to solder this all together.
Okay.
Here's the thing: I don't want to solder onto these points and onto that board, right onto this little contact area. What I want to do is find the areas in here that these actually the traces connect to.
Okay, let's find it.
Yes. So we have a multimeter set to continuity. When we touch those, they will beep. So that means if we I'll take one here and put it on the green, on that wire there. And what we're trying to do here is find where this ends up going to. Okay. So go to like one of the ICs.
Oh, there's one.
And like any over there. No. Okay.
No.
I think that white one up here is it.
Yay. Yeah, that one's heavy.
Great. So we have a point that it ends up, terminating at. Sometimes it's on an IC, sometimes not. But what we want to do is use that point to go ahead and solder a little wire in. Okay. All right. You can solder. I'll just here. Why don't you just be careful.
Is this on?
Yes. I'll take a wire here that I've just got simple wire that's going to go to my leads or my relays, and go ahead and melt that guy. Hey, come on.
I'm just kidding.
The white one right there.
Okay. Melting.
Normally I dip this in a little bit of flux to make it easier, but I think I already got some flux on here. And faster, more intense. There we go. That was it.
Ha-ha!
So we use what's existing on there. It makes it a little bit easier. And I've gone ahead and done the same thing with 8 different
points.
Yes, with 8 different points on here. I lied, 7. One of them's bridged. It's kind of weird the way that they got cheap on the board there. The other thing that I've done is I've replaced the 27 megahertz crappy antenna that came with it with a popped a pigtail on there and put a little antenna that I ripped off of a router.
All
I'll end
right.
up putting like a 9 dBi antenna on this. I know it's made for 27 megahertz and not 2.4 gigahertz, but we're going to need all the range we can. Maybe it'll work. Maybe a ham operator will email me with lots of technical details about why I'm absolutely wrong, but that's okay.
So this guy works now?
So this guy works now. So if we were to...
He's supposed to?
He's supposed to, yes. So this is now the green wire. So if, for instance, you touch this one to this one, I think that'll... No?
Oh, cool.
There we go. It's working. Awesome.
That's awesome.
Works better with batteries, too.
All right,
as we
let's
found
get
out.
this guy out of the way.
Yes. So it is time to go ahead and actually take a look at the back end, what actually makes this work.
Yes.
The assembly of this guy is not that exciting, but I will detail. I already have detailed pictures on Flickr and we'll have on the wiki, so you can follow along at home if you do end up finding this particular model. Otherwise, like I said, find the leads, solder them, put them on your board, and now some C code.
Ooh, yay. C code. I'm excited.
Let's-
Are you excited?
Put the Sharpie
Oh, I'm
stuff
sorry.
down. The cool thing about Phidgets is that they have APIs and example code for their interface kits, as well as they make more than just interface kits. They've got like temperature sensors and servos and motors, all sorts of cool stuff. So if you're interested in starting in electronics, like I obviously am right now, go ahead and check them out. But they do provide lots of awesome documentation and example code. So I'm using C in Linux right here. They also have Java and Python. But let's take a look at some of the code. I actually have, this is an example file that basically just initializes the device. It's like the simplest little example.
Did you write this?
No, this is theirs. And all I did was I went in here and modified the place where this is like their starter code to like get get your project started and whatnot. So we've got our device initialized, and all I'm really doing is making use of this function here, C Phidget Interface Kit set output state.
Okay.
That tells our relays what to do. I've got them wired into the the normal open position on all of my wires here, which means that our switch is they're
Wide
not
open,
connection.
yeah.
They're open.
There's
And
no connection, it's not doing anything.
yes, and that's what when we say, and the parameters that we pass, the arguments that we pass to this function are IFK for interface kit, 0, 1, 2, and 3 for the different relays,
0, 1, 2,
and
3.
either a 0 or a 1. So
So 0 for open, 1 for closed?
exactly
Okay.
it. So this particular file tells the Phidget to make a right turn. It actually spins right. So what we want to do is run that again once we've zeroed everything out and tell 0 and 3 to go closed. And I know because I've labeled here, 0 tells the left track to go forward and 3 tells the right track to go backwards.
Ah, okay.
Little
And since it's a
tank, yeah.
Yeah, since it's a tank, so what was it? Left track goes forward, right track goes backwards, so it
So
spins.
it spins. Yeah.
Cool.
And that's the nice thing about having a tank rather than like a normal RC car is I can do like
You
spin
get more
on a dime and
fun
stuff.
with these guys.
Now once I've told it to do that, I need it to take a nap and just wait a minute while those connections are closed before we reset them again.
Okay.
So normally in C I would just use sleep, but that's only for seconds. So in this particular instance, I want to use sleep. I've set it for 500 milliseconds. That means nanoseconds. So what is that? 500,000 nanoseconds.
Sure.
Yeah. And then we just put everything, we reset everything again.
Okay.
I've gone ahead and taken this example code, and you're gonna, a lot of you are gonna cringe. I've taken this example file and created 12 different copies of it.
Oh, God.
One of them tells it to go forward for a second, forward for 2 seconds, forward for 3 seconds. Same for backwards, and then
boy.
same for turning left and turning right for 200 milliseconds, 500 milliseconds, and 1 second.
I think you need a coder.
I probably need some help with some C.
Yeah.
But now that we can do that, I'll show you in the command line. I can just pop over to here and as a page. Okay, and type /back low.
Woo!
And I got it driving around.
All right,
or I can
cool.
spin right -high. If I could type. What am I typing wrong here? LS. Oh, right spin. Right
Oh,
spin. Oh,
okay.
spin right's like some other like hard drive program, I think.
Right spin. Hard.
How did I do that wrong again? Left, spin high. You know, autocorrect for the win in Linux. Thank you. So, hooray, I can control from the command line. But what we really want to do is put it on the web.
Oh, God. Of course.
It wouldn't be a Darren segment.
I should have known.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a Darren segment unless I had some PHP and some Apache, and then I could like grab my cell phone and control it from there.
Oh, boy.
So let me show you the web interface, and I will have the code for this up on the web. But basically, if you see here, I have these.
Oh, it's very cute.
Yeah, I've got these different buttons, and all they simply do is it's their form elements that refresh that PHP page. It checks for them if they're set. There's a case, break, something else, switch. There's a switch case that says if it's this, if it's this, and then tells it to exec or system that there's little programs that I made in C or modified in C real quick. Hacked together is the right term. Well, already the idea behind this project is I'm going to show you as we progress through this and build this rover for you guys to play with at HakHouse.com. All of the additional features. So when we get the webcam and do some fun stuff with that, when we get the RFID, all that stuff, I want to share with you guys. So here it is, the first step to get you started. Already, one of our Ustream friends, JZ-Man, went ahead. Mr. JZ-Man Connect sent us this updated code, and it looks much prettier. I think it might be like, see, we got a piece of paper under it.
It works a little better.
Yeah. Well, it's much prettier, and it actually works
let's go back over here.
It works by Ajax. So anyway,
cool.
it's much prettier. I will have all of the codes, all of the parts, and everything up on the website in the wiki, so we can collaborate and make this even better. And I look forward to all of your suggestions as to what kind of crazy stuff we can put in addition to cameras and lasers and RFID.
Oh, lasers! Kirby's gonna love that.
Yeah.
Oh God, she's
gonna treat dispenser on the back.
Nuts.
Yeah.
So what do we have next, man?
Well, a little later, we're going to be talking to Jody Franklin about
Jody.
Compiling PHP code. I know.
Yeah.
You know how I have that hammer and everything looks like a nail to me? Now I can compile PHP. It's going to get dangerous.
Oh, no.
But first, let's check in with Matt and see what's going on in the LAN party.
Matt.
All right, guys, you've only got 3 days left before the zombie invasion. That's right. Left 4 Dead and Zombie Panic source. We're going to be playing the games February 28th at 3 p.m. That's when the Left 4 Dead campaign starts. So go ahead, head on over to hak5land.squarespace.com if you want to sign up for the Left 4 Dead games that we've got going on. And there, you can also sign up for tourneys and, you know, check out past games that we've played, recommend your own games that you would like us to play on the LAN at hak5land.squarespace.com. With Squarespace, you can create amazingly beautiful and complex websites just like you were using Front Page 98. You remember that? That's good stuff. But creating forms in Squarespace is a whole lot easier than Dreamweaver, Front Page, or even Notepad. Simply drag and drop, set your values, and look at that, you're all good to go. So head on over to squarespace.com and use coupon code HAK5 for 10% off the life of your contract. Now, coming up a little later in the show, I'm going to be taking a look at the Napera Indigo Beta Part 2 with answering some viewer questions and stuff like that. But right now, we're going to go ahead and bring Jody Franklin in to talk about how easy it is to renumber a crap load of computers, and PHP as an executable. Don't really know how that works, but he does, so he's going to come over here and we're going to take a look. All right, guys, so Jody Franklin is joining us from Chesapeake, Virginia, which is about, what, 45 minutes away? About 45 minutes away. He comes over every Friday and has great boneless wings with us at BW3s. Now, Jody, you are here because you obviously watched the show, and unfortunately, you happened to watch the episode where Darren and I started, contemplating how difficult it would be to renumber multiple computers on, an intranet kind of thing.
Right.
And you took Darren's code, which I'm surprised you're still amongst the living, and have taken that and taught yourself PHP?
Yeah, that's actually the Rafflebot code was the first time I had experience with PHP, and actually the first time I'd written anything more than 2 lines long in about 10 years.
Ah, I see. All right. Well, you've got me beat in terms of motivation to learn a language. So what are we going to be playing with today?
Well, 2 different things. One, the code itself, how we're handling renumbering multiple computers using the same piece of code.
Okay.
And 2, looking at 2 different compilers, sort of, to build this into something that can be distributed to computers that don't have PHP installed on them, because it's obviously useless if the computer can't run it.
Right, exactly. All right, so what's the first tool we're going to take a look at?
The first one, it's the pretty one, is
I like pretty.
called RoadSend. It
Okay.
comes with its own IDE.
Okay.
You can build everything in the program, do debugging. It will run the code real time, give you breakpoints.
Right.
Has a nice little editor in it. You can give it all the different files if you want to put everything in its own PHP script and then compile it in later.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It produces large code.
Okay.
Big. I mean, big. 3 meg
Size-wise,
plus
yeah.
for tiny stuff.
Okay.
But it's pretty, and you can do everything in it.
Easy to use.
Yeah, just open it up, type your code, hit compile. Assuming you didn't get it wrong, you're done in the story.
Okay.
It is big editor, little windows. If you know PHP, unlike I did when I started, just do your thing. When you're done, go to your project and hit build, wait for it to finish, and when it's done, you have an exe.
Okay.
You do have the option of embedding an icon file so that you can actually have something to click on so that you can have a smiley face or whatever it is to recognize your application no death. And that is really about it. There's nothing to know. You click on items and they do what they say they do.
Okay.
The other one, which I hope I'm saying right, is called Bambalam.
Bambalam.
B-A-M-B-A-L-A-M.
Just like the sound of that word.
No, it's pretty.
Bambalam.
Bambalam is just a command line application that does the same thing. It
Compiles
does the
PHP
compiling.
to exe.
It makes it a runtime interpreter, packages it together. It even does a compressed exe,
Okay.
so that it makes it tiny,
Okay.
as opposed to already making it tiny.
So what kind of size difference are we looking at?
Well, RoadSend, you're looking about the little bitty script I had come out at 3.7 megs. Bambalam, with no compression options, came out at about 1.3.
Okay.
With the compression, came out at about 600K.
Huh.
And the compressed version doesn't seem to run any slower than the uncompressed version. Once the application launches, execution speed is about
exactly
the same.
So now what is the actual code we're going to be using to renumber these different computers? Because like we said, in an infrastructure, 50, 100 computers, and you need to go through a re-IP, that's a little bit of a pain in the ass to get the bodies to actually go through and manually do it. So you've created, with your limited knowledge of PHP and only Darren's code as a reference point, a PHP script that we can run as an exe to do this.
Right.
So let's take a look at that.
Okay. Well, the code itself centers around using the system command to run command line argument, and uses netsh. Another thing that I didn't know anything about until I started. I run Mac FreeBSD. netsh is just a jumble of letters to me.
Right.
And after looking at all the information on TechNet, it is still a jumble of letters to me. That is an insane command. The short version of what this does is it uses netsh to pull the current information off the machine. Is it using DHCP, and if so, why are we running this command? Or if not, what is my IP? Do I have a statically assigned DNS? What is it? Am I using WINS? What is that address?
Right.
You give it right now, first 3 octets is what is required. Later, I plan on making it so you can give it 1, 2, or 3 and have it work it out
based
on its
on
own.
your class.
But right now, you have to give it 3.
Okay.
You have to give it a subnet because I don't assume anything. And
Which is always good.
And you have to give it the gateway.
Okay.
You can give it DNS and WINS or not. It will do its best to work out what should be done with those if you don't.
Okay.
You can specify by IP address. If, let's say, you already have everything set up with DHCP for your IP, but your DNS and WINS are static, you have the option to use this command to set them to DHCP.
Okay.
It will take the current DNS and or WINS and grab the last octet, just like it does with the IP address, and paste in what you gave it to build a new one.
Right. Okay. Cool. So Now, how long did it actually take you from start to finish to get a working version of this running?
Let's see. I watched that episode on the Thursday after it came out, 4/24. I watched it about 10 p.m. Got the bug in my butt to do so at about 11. Started learning PHP at 12. And by 5, 6 in the morning, I had version 1, so it would change addresses. I'm up to 4 now, 5's on the way.
Jesus, I wish I was that motivated to do.
I wish I was too. I don't know where that came from, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, I mean, you know, from Darren and I shooting our mouth off about, you know, how to do it, and you actually going out and doing it in less than a day. Darren, I think this boy deserves mad props. Totally. Mad props.
Well, thank you, sir.
So where can we find? Are you going to be releasing the code, or what are we going to be doing here?
Originally, I was going to wait till the next version, but the next version is posing some problems and how to handle some things, so I'm going to go ahead and put this out now. It's technically version 0.0.4.
Okay.
I was going to go to 0.1, but I like 0, so we'll stick with it.
Yeah, you know.
My recently started, very currently unpopulated tech blog, eldernoob.org. That's ELDER-N00B.org.
That's awesome.
This is where it'll be. Hopefully some more detail on exactly how it works, and plus what I've got planned for the next version.
And you're always welcome. You're always open to, you know, people's suggestions and stuff like that.
Keep in mind, like I said, until this started, I didn't know PHP.
And had never seen it before.
My code experience is Basic, C, COBOL, RPG, and Clipper.
All right.
So keep that in mind when you look at it. Ignore how it works, but if you want something done, or if you see something that I can do better, faster, cheaper, please let me know.
So it's eldernoob.
Eldernoob it was elder-noob.
Okay.
.org. That's zeros, not O's.
Touche. All right. Coming up, I'm going to be taking a look at part 2 of our Napera Indigo beta software, and right now Shannon is going to let us know what trivia is for this week.
Last week's trivia was beep, 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 boop, boop, beep, 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 bop, bop. Okay, you get the picture. Anyway, nobody got it right, so we're going to do it again this week. You can answer it in the first 24 hours from when this episode releases. Go to hak5.org/trivia and get your chance to win our giveaway, Ashley Schwartal's documentary called Hackers Are People Too. And of course, this trivia is sponsored by GoDaddy. If you want to make an impact online, GoDaddy.com has what you need. .com names as low as $1.99, plus world-class hosting, fast and easy website builders, and much more. Get reliable, secure web hosting without the long-term contract. GoDaddy's hosting plans are bigger and better than ever before, with 99% uptime, 24/7 support, and no annual commitment. Plus, if you use code HAK1, that's HAK1, you can get 10% off your order. Some restrictions apply. See the website for details and get your piece of the internet at GoDaddy.com. Matt, I'm going to throw it back to you, and I think you got a little bit of some Napera for me. Thank you.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go.
Motherfucker, bushaka, yeah. I don't know why my arm's doing this. All right, we recording? Recording? Okay. All right, guys, so I am back here to talk about stage 2 of the Napera Indigo beta. Now, when I first went and talked about it last week, I might have gotten some things wrong. And promptly after the episode was released, I got an email from the CEO and founder of Napera, Todd Hooper. Really great guy to talk to, by the way. Now, okay, there's 2 different parts of Napera. There are their network devices and the Napera Indigo beta software, which is actually what we're testing, okay? Now, the software Napera Indigo is meant to go on to third-party manufacturer switches and devices and things of that nature. They're kind of making it so that it can be installed pretty much on anything that a company who wants to license the software can go ahead and do. I showed you some of the higher level overview of some of the health monitoring. And when I was sleep deprived last night repairing a VMware iSCSI SAN, it occurred to me that there's another really powerful mechanism inside the Napera Indigo software that allows you guys to lock down your enterprise, not only using the health monitoring, but authentication, both at the wired level as well as wireless. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to briefly cover those because the feature set on them isn't complete. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the interface. You might remember it from last week. The Napera interface is very streamlined, and it's beautiful, it's pretty, it's Web 2.0, all that jazz. What we're going to do over here is we're going to actually make sure that port 8 has the authentication module enabled. So here we can see that authentication is checked, and that is a good sign. When I got home today, I went ahead and set up a Windows 2008 Enterprise Active Directory server. Amazing job that Microsoft did. I'm not a Microsoft fanboy, even though you may think I am, but it's incredibly easy to set up an Active Directory nowadays. So what I went ahead and did is come over here to Configuration, and we're going to go ahead and click on the Auth tab. Now what we can actually do is Active Directory. So our Napera switch is now joined to our hak5.org domain name, which is sitting inside a VM running on my desktop machine upstairs in the second level of this beautiful thing we call a hack house. Still with me? All right, let's continue. So what we went ahead and did was we joined the Active Directory, we created a username. Now, I've actually tested it and made sure that it worked, which is always a good thing, and we try to do that here on Hak5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to Devices, and I'm going to delete the record that is caching my information. And we're going to come up and go to a new address. Okay, so now the captive portal is back, but it looks a little different. Instead of health monitoring, we now have an authentication request. So I'm going to enter my username, which is Matt, because it's not really a whole lot of people. And I think that's my password. Sign in failed. Huh, look at that. Who would have thought? Okay, now. So I'm signed in as Matt, and that is, going through Active Directory and authenticating my credentials. But as you can see, I'm on a Macintosh, and it's asking me to, report my computer's health. Well, how do we do that? Well, it turns out Napera actually wrote a NAP-compatible application for Mac. So what we're going to go ahead and do is download that, and we're going to open that with Disk Mounter, because that's what you do on a Mac. It's going to verify, it's going to mount, it's going to finish, and blah. Napera Agent is going to be installed, and after we install this on Macs, because Macs are really becoming more prevalent in the enterprise, and if you don't believe me, just go take a look at all the white papers that are online recently. So once this is installed, it's similar to the enabler on Windows. We come back over here, and we refresh, and now I have full network access. So now we have two factors that we can protect against. We can protect against malware, and we can protect against unauthorized people outside of our domain from accessing our local network resources. Now all these different options can be set up either guest or internet or printers and blah, 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 all inside Napera. But there's one other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and that's Wi-Fi security. Now, the Napera software supports up to 200 different devices that can be tagged along out onto the switch. One of those devices being Wi-Fi. Okay, so you throw your access point up there that has authentication for WPA Enterprise. Now, before, when you would go to set up, enterprise security and things of that nature, it's a pain in the ass. You got to deal with Radius, you got to deal with certificates, you got to deal with 802.1x, and so on and so forth. But with the Napera, it's exceedingly easy to go ahead and set up WPA Enterprise to authenticate back to your Active Directory that you've already set up. What we're going to do is we're going to come back in here to the Auth tab, and we're going to select Enable Authentication with Radius. Now, Radius is built in to Napera. There are valid certificates inside the Napera software. So all you have to do is enable it here, enter your shared secret, go over to your Linksys router, enable Radius, point it to the static IP address of the Napera, enter the shared secret, and boom. You now have a WPA Enterprise that is authenticating looking for credentials inside your Active Directory. So after talking with Todd and going over all of the things that Napera is actually looking to do, they've got some really, really great new features that I'm excited to tell you about, but I can't. So what we'll do is after I get either some updated software here or permission from Todd, we'll go ahead and let you know about all the great goodness that Napera is actually cooking up and brewing at a later show. But check it out, Napera.com, and I think they might still have a couple beta test slots open for beta testing the switch. I got to say, it's a completely different way to look at the enterprise security at the switch level. So I highly suggest anybody with, that's looking for a solution like this, go check them out, Napera.com. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this crazy-ass episode up. And Darren and Shannon are already over there reading, and that, thank you. Brain stop? Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. We don't have viewer questions. We actually have viewer show and tell coming up. Yay. But before then, let's go ahead and thank one of those beautiful people that keep us on the air.
Who would that be, Darren?
I think that would be Netflix.
Netflix! Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of Hak5. With Netflix, you can rent over
90.
With Netflix, you can rent over 90,000 titles online, including lots of Blu-ray titles, with free shipping both ways to your home. They now have over 40 shipping centers, so almost all deliveries happen in just one business day. Netflix plans start at $4.99, and as a viewer of Hak5, you can get a no-risk 2-week free trial membership. Get yours at www.netflix.com/Hak5, and please, don't forget the wwws.
I thought she was going to say you can get your piece of Netflix.
The Netflix.
I almost thought she was going there, but not. So it was good.
Hooray for ad copy.
Was that Snubs 5? All right, that's not bad.
Yeah. If you guys haven't done this recently or have never done this, head over to HakHouse.com on a Friday night because we shoot this, and I don't know if you can see it on the swing cam or whatever, but there's actually like this crazy setup of hardware where you can not only watch the thing, but you can participate in the chat room and even score us on how many times we flub.
This was a bad episode for Matt.
Yeah.
The total, we have the score up. Darren 1, Snubs 5, Matt 18. Jody 0, Paul 1.
That's okay. Last week for me, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. But
it was 1 take Matt last week, and now it's like 18 take Matt. That's how I roll.
Did you get off the amphetamines or whatever it was?
I did, but I have a feeling they're going to come out again.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
As long as the Juggernaut doesn't come on the show, we will be all good.
I think I can make the Juggernaut have an appearance this year. Yeah.
So what's that special new thing that you got in the special little, the package?
I love your segue. Let me take that and put it up in a nice big, no. If you guys haven't heard.
That was a ball of shit.
Unlike
At least
the
it
hack
didn't
packs
smell.
that you can get over at hak5.org/stickers, which contain no balls of shit, they are actually filled with leetness and awesome and heart and love from all of us here.
Domaku.
Yes, you won't get one of those.
No.
But you will get awesome Hak5 stickers like the Pineapple and the Evil Server stickers and the Trusted Technolust, the Bus tickets.
I've got the entire pack of signed things for you.
Yeah, I saw that. Thank you.
Nice.
Autographed cast photos, everything you could possibly want to just technolust up your cubicle
Lots of good
or
shit
whatever.
that doesn't
And
stink.
for the next 500 orders, I think it is, minus whatever has come in the last week, Hak5 temporary tattoos so Matt can roll his eyes. And I was wearing one the other day so that I could take a photograph of it that you saw right now. And yeah, they actually stay on for like, I don't know, like a week. Like you really got to scrub to get those guys off. So anyway, we're doing a contest. So if you support the show by getting a hack pack, all of them will come with some temporary tattoos. Take a photo of it in however you figure artistically.
Looking for action shots, right?
Action shots. Yeah, post them on the URL with the community images board, and we'll feature them on the show.
Ooh.
Awesome. Want to let you guys know about Scam School. Brian Brushwood does a great show about getting free drinks at the bar. Who doesn't love free drinks? Come on,
You can
seriously.
give me free drinks in about an hour.
Yeah, you can learn some magic, fool your friends, and earn yourself a free drink at the same time by watching Scam School. Brian has a ton of easy magic tricks and funny gags you can learn in minutes. This week you'll learn the spelling bee. Magically predict your friend's selected card by using spelling and a little bit of algebra. Catch a new episode of Scam School every Thursday at noon Eastern revision3.com. Met Brian when we went up to New York, and absolutely awesome guy.
Dude, that guy is crazy.
Yeah.
And the hair.
I want to know how he does that.
What, the hair?
Glue.
You think it's glue? Yeah.
Yeah, he does,
All right.
he does the magic
Silicone?
glue. The magic glue.
What's the craziest thing you've ever done to your hair? Aside from, you know, this goose.
Growing it as long as it was.
Yeah.
That was literally the craziest thing I've ever done.
What about you, Snubs? Ever do Manic Panic or any of that stuff in school?
I had blonde highlights in school
No way.
Yeah.
I have to see pictures of this.
when my hair was like super curly.
Yeah. My hair was yellow in high school.
I've
Nobody's
seen
gonna believe
pictures.
this. Yeah. Spiky and yellow.
And you were wearing
Yeah,
lipstick.
we would call those piss heads
no,
in high school.
I didn't wear. You know, it's funny you mentioned piss. That I'll tell you the story at the Wings place. Friday
Alright.
nights, B-dubs, Newport News, Virginia, awesomeness. So yeah, that was the promos. And oh, so not a viewer question, but of course you can send those to feedback@hak5.org or questions@hak5.org or evilserver@hak5.org. He's actually hibernating now. I think he's in like System State 1 or something.
He's waiting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he is.
he's waiting for good weather.
Yeah. But did you see all those packets he was eating earlier? I don't blame him for, you know, taking a nap. But I wanted to show off this awesome little, inspired by the Hak5 Twitter Tamagotchi PHP code extravaganza that has now inspired, well, two people that I know of now. You know, come out of the woodworks like, wow, Darren's bad code inspires people. But Daniel here, and I'm sorry, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his last name, has a blog here where he outlines how he used the Twitter Tamagotchi PHP code to kind of put together his own Twitter bot that basically uses AppleScript and controls iTunes. Yeah, so
That's
people can
awesome.
@Twitter him and then like suggest a song, and then it'll do a search, and whatever the first result is, it'll play
that's
that.
cool.
So I was thinking, dude, we should run that here so people at
Yeah.
HakHouse.com can like control our stereo.
Oh
Definitely.
god.
Crowdsource.
I like it.
Is this a good idea?
It's amazing.
No, it's never a good idea, but it came out of my mouth, so
That means it's gonna be.
yeah, that's how it usually works.
Alright.
The fucking light bulb burned out in my kitchen.
Yeah, I told you about that earlier. We're
No, you didn't.
we're gonna replace it. Well, whatever. We'll go CFL. Hooray for the environment!
Yay!
Okay.
Not going to
I think that wraps up. Was there anything else?
No, just check out the forums, forums.hak5.org, and feedback@hak5.org. We read every single email that you guys send in. So keep them coming, and trust your techno lesson.
God. Oh my god. Oh my god.
You can end the show that
Balls of steel, bitches!
That's horrible.
Lemonade?
No, it's
But
ramen.
it's ramen.
it's Canadian ramen. Ramen, eh?
Beep, beep, beep,
No,
beep,
I need
beep.
that fork.
You know?
Aw.
This is the dysfunctional fun that is HakHouse.
I love Airwolf.
Hey, we're not ending with Airwolf.
Oh man.
Oh.
Hold on, I got this.
I was
Emergency
laughing so
nap
hard
kit.
it came out.
Go ahead.
Stop, it doesn't stink.